AnointedHOS. We fighting the wrong things, man. We use so much energy fighting against each other that we could definitely get a lot more done if we just came together and worked as one people to fight for a common goal that we all need.
The pop, Molly stole dollars and F and kill, think not. Even though where we live is really real, where kids are really still just to feel like they got. We all wanna be as fly as the cockpit. Glock clips, get the kids before college. I'ma break this cycle, man, I promise. Crooked cops, they'll roll you on your tummy. Press a knee into your back and hit you till you're bloody. Tell the press it's life or death, cause they like monkeys. Without a gun, they dangerous, they kill you over nothing. I'm Radio Raheem, Bobby Seale and Huey. J Pocket Nas, why the radio can't use me. We looking for direction, why the media confuse me. We looking for protection, why the boys in blue abuse me. Man, I hope we get it before it's time to leave. No more fighting each other, my brother, please. Hands down, we killing ourselves, a man's down. Nobody trying to stop it, not making a damn sound. Police locking us up, laws locking us down. If we living in love, what's the fighting about? Hands down, we killing ourselves, a man's down. Nobody trying to stop it, not making a damn sound. Police locking us up, laws locking us down. If we living in love, then what's the fighting about? Hands down. Over the clouds where we live on a spring day. We all under the sun, we all seen rain. But we don't seem to want for the same things. So sometimes we can be just as mean as a stingray. Every 13 minutes somebody dies from what we classified as a suicide. Victims of torture and rape, sometimes neglect. So I write a check to cover relief. But what is that to a mother of a child that never get to see him smile again? That rainbow like he frowning in. On the hate in this neck high water that we be drowning in. Don't raise your hands for hate, put them down again. Unless you boxing and intoxicating hate. Take your gloves off and toss them in the safe. This world is prime, time for love and it's time for minds to find a hatred for the cause of genocide. No pride and hands down. We killing ourselves, a man's down. Nobody trying to stop it, not making a damn sound. Police locking us up, laws locking us down. If we living in love, what's the fighting about? Hands down, we killing ourselves, a man's down. Nobody trying to stop it, not making a damn sound. Police locking us up, laws locking us down. If we living in love, then what's the fighting about? Hands down. Using Christ as motivation for hate. When he stands for love, I'm irate. I guess that Satan uses diversity as live bait to create a battleground mind state. Digest that. Knowledge is one when we open our eyes. Every man needs to stop to realize that God's great. Even the sinful are in God's grace. So who are we to take God's place? It's getting spiritual now. Hope everybody who was living it down. Put your hands down. They're getting physical now. Before we put a whole race in the ground. Put your hands down. It's getting spiritual now. Hope everybody who was living it out will put your hands down. They're getting physical now. Before we put a whole race in the ground. Put your hands down. We killing ourselves, a man's down. Nobody trying to stop it, not making a damn sound. Police locking us up, laws locking us down. If we living in love, what's the fighting about? Hands down. We killing ourselves, a man's down. Nobody trying to stop it, not making a damn sound. Police locking us up, laws locking us down. If we living in love, then what's the fighting about? Hands down.
AnointedHOS.
Turn it up. Yeah. Call all the deacons up. Call them up now. Ask if we linking up. Ask if we linking up. What time no sleeping time? 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 Call up the deacons, bro. Call them up now. Ask if we linking up. Ask if we linking up. What time no sleeping time? What time no sleeping time? Wake up the sleeping trap. Wake up the sleeping trap. Call up the deacons, bro. Call them up now. Ask if we linking up. Now. What time no sleeping time? 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 Call all the deacons up. Call them up now. Ask if we linking up. What we linking up? What time no sleeping time? Any minute now. Wake up the sleeping tribes. I said I had to call him up. I made the phone call a Deke like, what's up? Is you ready for war? He replied, being ready for war. Being ready for a battle with swords. And I respect him because he fought many wars. I humble down to what the scriptures say and give doubles to the elders that been leading the way. I know it's hard in this walk and they've been walking for years. So when I'm weak in the flesh, they voice attend to my ears. A young man trying to soak the wisdom, gain the knowledge, apply the scriptures. Wrong decisions leave me senseless. Dear Lord, would you give me a chance? We all looking for the code to the gate. We all looking how to change our fate. Repentant, so rebellious. No, I had to change my whole lifestyle. I'm getting wise now. I'm looking forward to an all-gold crown. I'm just praying at the Lord, looking down with a smile, you know.
Call all the deacons up.
Call them up now.
Ask if we linking up.
Ask if we linking up.
What time no sleeping time?
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 Call up the deacons, bro.
Call them up now.
Ask if we linking up.
Ask if we linking up.
What time no sleeping time?
What time no sleeping time?
Wake up the sleeping tribes.
Wake up the sleeping tribe.
Call up the deacons, bro.
Call them up now.
Ask if we linking up.
No.
What time no sleeping time?
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 Call all the deacons up.
Call them up now.
Ask if we linking up.
Yeah, man, we might have to call the big guns in on this one, man.
Any minute now.
Wake up the sleeping tribes.
I think we gonna need a little assistance.
Bishop gave the green light. Yeah, we about that action. Call up all the regions and assemble all the factions. This is an organized nation and we active. It's time to get at them. Another shot dead in the street. Response time is imminent. Less than a week. Our people need this medicine to wake them up from sleeping. How the hell they gonna get it if it ain't IUIC? Steady looking for the light, but they can't quite see. Trying to take a deep breath, but they can't quite breathe. Still looking to a nation that'll never save thee. Wondering why they let their blood in the street. When our blood is unique, she ain't never been taught that. Through Christ, yeah, buddy, we been brought back. How you in the fight for black life and never fought back? Prophecy your town, it's going down. We want it all back, all that.
Call all the deacons up.
Call them up now.
Hey, man, this thing is
Ask if
amazing.
we linking up.
What time no sleeping time?
What
I
time
ain't
no
even gonna lie
sleeping
to you.
time?
What time no sleeping time?
What time no sleeping time?
Call up the deacons, bro.
Hey, this
Call
truth
them
will
up
change
now.
you if you
Ask
wanted
if we
to.
linking up.
Ask if we linking up.
What time no sleeping time?
What
It's
time no
time for our
sleeping
people to
time?
come back to God's law, statutes,
Wake
and
up the
commandments.
sleeping tribe.
Call all the deacons up.
Call them up
Yeah.
now.
Ask if we linking
No.
Hey, we calling all the
What time no
soldiers,
sleeping time?
What time no sleeping
all the
time?
officers, all the captains,
All the deacons
all
up.
the
Call them
deacons,
up now.
Ask if we linking
all the
up.
bishops.
What we linking up?
What time no sleeping time?
Any
Hey.
minute now.
Wake up the sleeping tribes.
Let's win this battle, y'all. Yeah. One time for righteousness. One time for the saints of the Most High God. Yeah. And one time for the sisters, too. Supporting the troops. You know how I do. Yeah. Hey, man, we out of here, man. Wartime, war ready.
AHOS. We used to look up to the stars. We would treat them like our God. They could never do no wrong for us. These are more than just songs for us. We used to look up to the stars. We would treat them like our God. They could never do no wrong for us. These are more than just songs for us. What if the villains that Batman was killing was more than just fiction? And we discovered that the world that they lived in was ours. And they were writing all the songs for the stars. Would you still buy and feed them applause? Or would you stand by and worship in awe of the gold chains that represent the new slavery, just like the masses do? The genius is a byproduct of ghosts, either the writers or the spirits that be feeding them notes to rap to you. K-Dot came out and said it, your spirit medium. The question is, which spirit feeding them and which spirit leading them? And will you let that spirit speak to you? Do these objectives help the people or the people who be creeping through and pulling strings like Geppetto to compromise the masses to influence of the ghetto? This is how they pay homage. They name stars after they gods and fake God. We used to look up to the stars. We would treat them like our God. They could never do no wrong for us. These are more than just songs for us. We used to look up to the stars. We would treat them like our God. They could never do no wrong for us. These are more than just songs for us.
What if the planets and stars are really spirits and gods? And we discovered that all reality a facade, and every image and every movie is paying homage to ancient national gods. This ain't a theory, it's obvious. Babylon, they repackaging gods to us. Nike from Mount Olympus, the golem protecting Prague. Santa is really Satan, Columbia is their God. Bringing light to the nations. His name Drake and his game Fate. Looking at the etymology, his name Snake. Rick Ross took a brother name, lied to the world about selling cane and garner fame, and now we guard the gate. While K. Osiris took his name from papyrus artifacts and reliefs and brought it back to the streets. Now whenever kids listening to CDs, they paying their respects to the God of the deceased. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 15. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for you saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb, out of the midst of the fire. Lest you corrupt yourselves, and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun, the moon, and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all the nations under the whole heaven. But the Lord thy God hath taken you, and brought you forth from the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as you are this day.
We used to look up to the stars. We would treat them like our God. They could never do no wrong for us. These are more than just songs for us.
Morris Production.
All's my life I has to fight. All the struggle, all the pain became added weight to my plight. In order to see a change, I remove faith from my sight. But if I ain't working, then I don't deserve it, and it just might die. So I'm keeping my blessings alive. As long as I'm standing next to the Most High, I'm good to go. I seen the rise and felt the fall, then bounce back. You couldn't tell I'm a shattered soul. Adversity was warning me, forcing me to water seeds that didn't grow. The devil throwing obstacles, trying to troll. He didn't know I've been to go. Silly foe, he better go. Ask somebody. Better go ask somebody. From a 20-20 point deficit, had to lock in and get boy too up. Thought I lost it all, but everything lost me. Wanted money when honestly it's the change that I need. I'm thinking those enrollments was never benefiting. It was the boy in me that had to man up. Respect the process, your time is gonna be fruitful. Gotta embrace the ugly before everything is beautiful. Your vision will get better, just keep trudging through that tunnel, bro. If you just like me, then we agree. We don't love them woes.
You about to get that blessing. Hold up, wait. You about to get that breakthrough. Yeah. Hold up, wait. You about to get that blessing. Yeah. You about to get that breakthrough. Yeah. You about to get that message. Yeah. Hold up, wait. Be still, he moving. Be still, he moving. Be still, he moving. Hold up, wait. You about to get that blessing. Yeah. You about to get that breakthrough. Yeah. You about to get that message. Yeah. Hold up.
Devil get busy, sitting in the city. God never gave my chauffeur. Opposing these demons, trying to block blessings. I'm turning them to a poster. Like I'm Vince Carter with it. I saw the light and then I saw the vision. I stopped the talking and I started to listen. Like whoa. I think I just sent me an angel. What? Angel. Blessings come from every angle. I can't stop believing. No, I can't lose the faith. I need his mercy and I need his grace. Confront the mirror, now I'm face to face. Transparency, declaring me. You that one that ain't no one there for me. Maneuver through obstacles carefully. Yeah, I be still like a mannequin. Call the God, what's the plan again? I revert from the panicking. It's like shipping and handling. When he's sending me answer after answer, I'm talking answer after answer. I got a question. Are you a witness? Put your hands up. Keep them near, keep them high. Raise them high cause the Lord supply. Some things you just can't deny. You ask me why? Cause
you about to get that blessing. Hold up, wait. You about to get that breakthrough. Yeah. Hold up, wait. You about to get that blessing. Yeah. You about to get that breakthrough. Yeah. You about to get that message. Yeah. Hold up, wait. Be still, he moving. Be still, he moving. Be still, he moving. Hold up, wait. You about to get that blessing. Yeah. You about to get that breakthrough. Yeah. You about to get that message. Yeah. Hold up. New day. New way, no longer play with a fool's play. Knowing that y'all got me covered, I think about August was almost my doomsday. Further the farther, the closer the bother. The enemy present, choose who stays. Gotta be still to be non-stop. With self, gotta lock in just to unlock. I really could have been dead or been on lock. I gotta stop moving my legs on my own clock. Yeah, it's all in its time. And the toughest battles for his strongest soldiers, I'm unblocked. Had to realize time really ain't mine. Be ready, suit up for the faith when it's game time. Lift with the gift, make the energy shift, and I tap on my wrist like it's Dame time. Tell the man back up off us. Prison boy with it, yeah, we back in office. Spiritual, mental, physical, back to bossing. Lesson, blessing, don't believe in losses. Got troubled water, don't drink from that faucet. Telegram from your calling, know that it was written. Solo mission, he will isolate so you can feel what's missing. Know you healing different. Part of the plan, under God's grace, so I stay surrounded. Give him the remedy, instead of being your enemy. I could be a new energy, we can pray about it. Drama, stay about it. New life cost me the old one when I need guidance. He will. No more walking, no more talking. He moving, be still. You about to get that blessing. Hold up, wait. You about to get that breakthrough. Yeah. Hold up, wait. You about to get that blessing. Yeah. You about to get that breakthrough. Yeah. You about to get that message. Yeah. Hold up, wait. Be still, he moving. Be still, he moving. Be still, he moving. Hold up, wait. You about to get that blessing. Yeah. You about to get that breakthrough. Yeah. You about to get that message. Yeah. Hold up.
My water straight from the throne. We built the altar with the unhewn stones. Home through the city, all we see is these bones. So my face like flint till I wake a couple souls. A prophet hated by his own, so the father sent his son to bring the tribes of Jacob home. Jumping through these traps cause they trying to see us gone. But we walking through the fire just like dangling bros. From every sheep to his home, we stay inside the book because the book is all we own. Heritage and you better hold it on. We like David fighting giants with no armor and a stone. We face east as a car home. We face east just to call home. We can't sleep till we all home. We won't rest till they all gone. So I guess that we be calling out they all bones. Bless the seed, invest the deep in the laws of our God. Make it Elohim, Shema, Warapah, all desire the king. Barakatah, Yahweh, and Mashak, Nagin. Bless the seed, invest the deep in the laws of our God. Make it Elohim, Shema, Warapah, all desire the king. Barakatah, Yahweh, and Mashak, Nagin. From every sheep to the books in Greek, the dragon took the sheep. Man, the book complete. The father looked for peace, but we shook the beast. Now we up until our power put the hook in cheek. Shema, Yasha Allah, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ahad. He the tower till he give us the power of God. Though in the tower you will never devour our tribe. The Lord despised all you devils, your hours arrived. Bless the seed that kept the peace. Never forgot the poor and he kept the feast. I'm trying to dodge destruction, they can't stop the sea. Barakatah, Yahweh, and Mashak, Nagin. Bless the seed that kept the peace. Never forgot the poor and he kept the feast. Trying to dodge destruction, they can't stop the sea. Barakatah, Yahweh, and Mashak, Nagin.
took with the unhewn stones.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Shalom. All right. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shah, Barakatham. All praises to the Most High. Hey, is my sound good?
Khan, out of one.
Khan, all praises. Hey, look, by the spirit and power of the Most High, man, we're gonna come and bring y'all this word tonight. We dealing with various topics. We're gonna try to do maximum edification. So what we doing is we're going into 3 separate topics. We're gonna break them down, right? We're gonna show you how to deal with these topics and how to flawlessly defeat any efforts to teach the wrong doctrine on these particular topics. All right. So y'all bear with us. We're going to go ahead and get started with the shout outs. We're going to do some commercials, some advertising, right? And then we're going to get right into this thing. Okay. All praises. If you want to do the shout outs, I'll let you do the shout outs.
Khan, out of one. Let's get some shout outs going. Shout out to the sister Joan Gilchrist, Yaiquab, Captain Yahweh, Shalom Madawan, Mother Yab, Sister Dawn, Gary, Kazakia, Shemaiah, Zanaya, Yakum Madawan, Yakum Yah, Shalom Madawan, Sister Carla, Gabriella, and the brother Kodash. And anybody else that does join the line a little later on, shalom to all you brothers and sisters that join in.
Khan, that's right. All praises, all praises. So we got some housekeeping we got to take care of before we get started. All right. So we're going to take care of the housekeeping real quick. Also, make sure you go ahead and like, share, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But make sure to like and share at the very least. Like and share at the very least. Hey, Boaz, double check your audio to make sure that your microphone audio is being used. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and hit y'all with these.
All right, so I just got something in the mail from my brother Shaquat out there in San Francisco, man. Smooth like butter, man. Smooth like butter. Yo, let me let you see what it look like. All right, the whipped cream, whipped body butter is what they call it. Yo, it smells good. It really smells good. Go check it out, man. All right, I got it on right now. It feels good. My skin glowing, the whole 9 yards. Go get you some of this smooth like butter. Show it to you again. SMUVLIKEBUTTA.com. SmoothLikeButter.com. All right, y'all go cop that, man. It's an Israelite business. We got to start supporting each other, man. Let's support Israelite businesses. All right. Hey, man, brothers and sisters, when they start businesses and stuff, you know what I'm saying? The majority of them, put back into the community, man, and help us push the word. So make sure you are supporting these Israelite businesses. Brother shipped out fast. You know what I'm saying? I got it quick all the way from Cali. All right, it smells good, feels good, the whole 9 yards. So go ahead and get it. SmoothLikeButter.com.
Hey, Khan, all praises. Go ahead and get that. That's a good product. We stand by that product. A lot of our family members, sisters, wives, mothers, all of that got very good feedback for the smooth like butter, man. So make sure you go and get that. Hey, that's an essential part of nation building, which brings us to the next video we got to bring up. Hey, Khan, all praises, all praises. So look, learn about building culture. Learn about the psychological processes that are at work and the psychological influences that are at work every day in your life that you don't even know about. You don't even know that they doing research and they know the name to the phenomenon, right? That keeps you locked into this American culture. Learn how to take those phenomenon and turn it towards your own culture, a time after forever. All praises to the Most High. Hey, Shemaiah said there's an echo. They saying there's an echo. Is that on me? Who is that on? Y'all let us know. Who is the echo on? Shalom, believe Israel. Shalom. Y'all let me know if it's better. Put a 7 if it's better. Right? And as soon as we get the echo out of here, we're going to get started with the edification tonight. Okay, Khan. So brother said he don't hear it. Not a yob. That's a good brother. Anything he say is golden. So that's what I'm going with. Right? That's what I'm going with. All right. So look. And if it come back, y'all let me know. Okay? All right, Khan. Shemaiah said it was Boaz. See that brother Boaz, man. All right. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't hear it. Is it better now, Israel? Hey, Shalom, Ariel, Bon Ephraim. Shalom. Okay, Khan. So I don't see anybody saying it's bad. They go to 7s. We are good to go. All praises to the Most High. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this screen. And we're going to start by dealing with how to properly have a conversation. How to properly have a conversation. And the reason we got to go into this is because we was on Clubhouse earlier today, and the world doesn't know how to properly have a conversation. I mean, this is utterly apparent at this moment in time, right? They don't know how to have a conversation. When you force them to deal with a particular subject, they will skirt around the issue. They will change the subject at hand. They will do everything they can to make sure that you are not right. But the sad part about that is this. When you have the disposition that I must disagree with this person no matter what, because I have to be right, that leaves you in a situation where you could be living a lie. And we all was there in the Christian church, right? So we're going to start with this. When you having a conversation with somebody, if you don't know the subject matter at hand, just say you don't know. It's okay. Right? Brothers hit me up all the time and be like, yo, what is this? And have you ever heard of this? And I'll be like, I can't lie to you. I don't know. Right? Matter of fact, one of the topics that the brother, I think it was Kazakia. I believe it was Kazakia. Put something in the chat for us last week. And I told him I didn't know. Right? So it's no shame in not knowing. As the brother Judah always brings out, we lean on each other when we don't know something. Okay? All right, so let's start with this. Let's go to Romans chapter 10 because the Clubhouse conversation was dealing with Romans chapter 10. And specifically, Romans chapter 10 and verse 4. Right? So let's start there. Whenever you get it, you can go ahead and start reading. I want you to start at verse 4. And then we're going to talk about context and how the context plays into what Romans chapter 10 is talking about.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 4. For Christ is the end of the world. For Christ is the end of the law, for righteousness to everyone that believeth.
All right. So we got to get sharper in our swords. We got to be able to see when somebody pulls. Okay, he said the echo is back. So it might be something to do with your sound. So either change over to your Sister Don said the brother on Clubhouse was loud and wrong. That's right. So either change your sound source or go in to where it says echo cancellation and all that type of stuff, right? So this is the thing that I want to point out. When they read these verses, they read it and divorce it from the rest of the text. So in order for us to understand what Romans 10 and 4 is talking about, we must first understand the context from which Paul is speaking. So everybody in the room, look at your Bible. I'm going to give you a big clue, right? Look at your Bible and let's look at Romans chapter 10, right? Now, 3 verses above Romans chapter 10 says, and this is Romans chapter 9 and verse 31, but Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, have not attained to the law of righteousness. Wherefore? Because they sought it not by faith, but as if it were by the works of the law. For they stumble at the stumbling stone. Okay? So Romans 9, 31 and 32. Is that what it is? Yep, 31 and 32. Those passages are telling us that keeping the law is nothing without the proper faith. All right? That's what the context is in chapter 9 before we reach chapter 10. Now we're going to read chapter 10 and let's see what the context is in chapter 10. I'm just curious, right? So go ahead, brother. You can start reading from verse 1.
From verse 1?
Oh, well, actually, before you read verse 1, I'm sorry, one more thing. Before you read verse 1, I want everybody to look at your Bible one more time. Look at the first word in every verse in Romans chapter 10. So the guy on Clubhouse wanted to bring us to Romans 10 and 4, right? What does what does Romans chapter 10 and verse 4 start with? What's the first word in that sentence? The first word in that sentence is for. F-O-R. Which means that whatever Romans chapter 10 and verse 4 is talking about is connected to the previous idea. Look at verse 5. It starts with 4, which means that 5 is connected to 4. Look at verse 6. It starts with but, which means that verse 6 is connected to the thought before. Look at verse 7, all the way down the chapter, right? Look at verse 8. Look at verse 9. Look at verse 10. Look at verse 11. Look at verse 12. Look at verse 13. Do you see that? Every single one of these verses, all the way down to 13, are connected to a previous thought. Mm-hmm. Now, Brother Boaz, start reading from 1.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 1.
Come on.
I think the echo is still there.
Okay, if it's still there, I'll read. Actually, let me change my settings because I did something different this time. Hold tight. I did the stereo audio. That'll cause an issue. So Boaz, say something now. Take it off. Yep, there you go. Is it there now? Is it there now, brothers and sisters in the chat? Shalom, Kadar Haran. Shalom.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. I don't hear it.
Yeah, we don't hear it at all.
I mean, I could hear it when I started talking, but I don't hear it now. Can you hear me good?
I hear you good. Gary said it's a 7. Right? Whatever Gary says is golden in my eyes. Nadi Yab said it's good. Adawan Yakum Yah said it's good. So it got to be good. All right. All praises. There we go. Okay. So let's start from Romans chapter 10 and verse 1.
This is the book of Romans chapter 10 and verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to Yahweh for Israel is that they might be saved.
Come on.
For I bear them record that they have a zeal of Yahweh, but not according to knowledge.
Come on.
For they being ignorant of Yahweh's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Yahweh.
Whoa. Now we got to deal with this, right? So verse 3 tells us what? Verse 3 tells us that it's their own righteousness versus the righteousness of the Most High. All right. So you got two types of righteousness in this chapter. Now, what did Romans chapter 9 tell us? Romans chapter 9 told us that the keeping of the law is nothing without proper faith, right? So this would represent one type of righteousness, the keeping of the law, and the proper faith in accordance with the keeping of the law would represent another type of righteousness. right? This is according to Romans chapter 9. And once again, y'all, I'm showing you this on purpose. I'm showing you this in this way because sometimes we got to get surgical with it. Sometimes we got to get surgical with it. I was trying to figure out how to add a row here. Mine is different than this computer's. Anyway, I ain't worried about it. So, all right. So we got two types of righteousness here. You got your own righteousness, and then you got the righteousness of the Most High. All right. Now read verse 3.
Verse 4.
Oh, verse 4. Salakia.
Okay.
Verse 4.
For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth.
So we know that every verse, all the way down to verse 13, is connected in this chapter. Does it make sense for me to just pull verse 4 out of the context of what the writer is saying, and then to come back and say, see, the law is done away with? That makes no sense, because you're divorcing verse 4 from the rest of the context. And every one of these verses are connected by connecting words. I'm not just saying it's connected. These verses begin with but, or, that, for, right? Every verse down to verse 13. These are connected thoughts, and they're inseparable, right, in the text. So if we are to understand Romans 10 and 4, we must first understand what is being spoken about. Right? Let's keep reading.
For Moses describeth the righteousness which is of the law, that the man which doeth those things shall live by them.
Okay, so hold up. Moses describes the righteousness of the law. If you do it, you live, right? We got precepts that say that. If you do the law, you live. So we believe that to be true, right? We believe that to be true. Now, read verse 6.
But the righteousness which is of faith speaketh on this wise. Say not in thine heart, who shall ascend into heaven? That is to bring Christ down from above.
Okay, keep reading.
Or who shall say, or who shall descend into the deep? That is to bring up Christ again from the dead.
Come on.
But what saith it? The word is nigh thee, even in thy mouth and in thy heart. That is the word of faith which we preach.
Now, question for everybody in the chat. Where is the writer of Hebrews quoting from? So we looked at verse 5, and we know that verse 5 is from Moses, because the writer says that Moses is what he's talking about, right? But when we're talking about the righteousness which is of faith, and that verse starts with the word what? But. Verse 6 starts with but. So we're comparing the righteousness of the law to the righteousness that is of faith. The same concept that we was reading about in Romans chapter 9. You see that? Keeping the law is nothing without proper faith. The same context is still being taught when we get to Romans chapter 10. The same context, right? So y'all tell me in the chat, where is I don't want Yakum Yah. It says something that it says tell thereat. I know. I think what he was trying to say was something else, and then it auto-corrected. Right? But the numbers is dead on. So I know that he got the answer. But y'all tell us, what is the writer of Hebrews quoting in verse 6 through 8? There you go. Deuteronomy. Right? I don't want Yakum Yah. Deuteronomy 30, 12, 14. Nadiyah. Deuteronomy 30, 11 through 14. Don, Deuteronomy 30 and 14. So look at what we got on the screen here. If he's telling you that the righteousness which comes from faith, the righteousness of faith, which is the righteousness that you need to be attaining to, if he's quoting how you get the righteousness of faith from Moses, then he can't be telling you that the law is done away with.
God.
Because the whole comparison here is you think you're keeping the law just because you you think you keeping the law fully just because you bring in a sacrifice and you got fringes on it, you got your beard, and you haven't committed adultery with your wife, right? But check this out. It goes further. You must also have faith. Let's demonstrate that in the text. Jump down to verse 14.
Verse 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher?
So, once again, this is following in line with what we're teaching. Romans chapter 10. I keep saying Hebrews. Y'all gotta help me out. Romans chapter 10 is not teaching against the law. It's teaching you that if you keep the law without the proper faith, you are doing nothing. That's what it's teaching you. Right? And Moses already taught you that. And Paul went to Moses to teach you that. So how can you now say that the law is finished or over with? Instead, you should say the purpose of the law is faith in, I'll put Messiah, right? Because I don't have Hebrew letters on here. But Hamashiach Yahushua, right? Give me Psalms 19 and 7.
Okay.
Y'all put tens in the chat if you following, or if we need to slow down and let you see what I'm saying. So basically, the writer of Romans, which is Paul, starting in chapter 9, is telling you that keeping the law and having proper faith must be paired together. And then all the way through the chapter of chapter 10, he continues on the same thought process. And he culminates, I would say, at verse 6, where verse 6 through 8, where he is quoting Moses. So if he's quoting Moses, why in the world would he also be telling you that the law is done away with? It makes no sense. Go ahead.
Right. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple.
You see that? The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The purpose of the law is faith in Yahushua, or converting the soul. We're going to move on. Okay. Right? Let's get Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 12. Hebrews 7 and 12. This is another one. This is another one that they like to go to, right? I'm giving y'all a view of what we getting into. I ain't mean to do that. All right. Hebrews 7 and 12. Come on, go ahead.
I was going to say, most of the stuff, if just to ask a question, but most of the stuff that they going into, it's all letters, Paul's kind.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be Paul's letters. It's gonna be.
Okay.
It's gonna be.
I got something, but I'll wait. This the book of Hebrews.
I mean, if you want to bring it out, you're not in my way. It'll be perfect. If you want to bring it out.
I'm gonna wait, Adawan.
Okay,
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 7 and verse 12. For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
Okay, so when they see that terminology, a change of the law, they jump off the cliff. Right? A change of the law, brother. See, that means that the law is now done away with because Christ is the end of the law, right? And now what you need to understand. So what we got to do is we got to slow down. And a lot of the times, this is another thing. It's difficult to have these conversations with our brothers and sisters in the Christian church, primarily because we can't even go to a precept. Because when we go to a precept, they don't understand what we're doing. They don't know what a precept is. They wasn't taught that. So now we have to be crafty in the way that we lead them to that precept, or else they're going to think we're leaving the context and going somewhere else. Right? So let's explain this. Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 12. Let's jump up to verse 1. Now, the context of this chapter is about the priesthood. That's number one. I'm going to write that on the screen. The context of Hebrews 7 is the priesthood of God, right? Okay.
You said
go ahead. You can read it.
You want verse 1?
Yeah, verse 1.
This is the book of Hebrews chapter 7 and 1. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Yahweh, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him.
Come on.
To whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace.
So we can demonstrate, the way we see it is Melchizedek is Christ. That's the way we see it, because he's the high priest of the Most High God, right? Abraham paid tithes to him. The scriptures said nothing about his beginning of days or ending of days, right? He just appears on the scene and he's there to bless Abraham. So, and we have other reasoning as well. We can do a separate class on that. Put a 13 in the chat if you want to see the class on that, right? We can definitely do that. But Melchizedek is a representative of a higher priesthood. And this higher priesthood, hold on, let me write this. I'm going to say Melchizedek, right, is the representative of a higher priesthood, right? Why are we saying a higher priesthood? We know that the Levites will be priests forever by Shema Mashiach Yahweh. We know this. We can go into end time prophecies and show you that the Levites will be priests forever before the Lord, right? But Melchizedek is of a higher priesthood. Why do we know that? Because Abraham, before there is a person called Levi, Abraham is paying tithes to a man called the priest of the Most High God. So we got to think about that. He is the representative of a higher priesthood. Whatever priesthood he comes from is higher than that, than of the priesthood of the Levites. Right? Let's keep reading in Hebrews.
Verse 3. Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of Yahweh, abideth a priest continually.
Made like unto who?
The Son of Yahweh.
Okay, come on.
Abideth a priest continually. Now
stop.
Consider.
Stop. He abideth a priest continually. That's another thing to think about. Whoever this Melchizedek character is, he is a priest continually. Right? Once again, that's why I'm referencing a higher priesthood. Now, from there, so notice we haven't started talking about one day the law is going to be done away with. That's not the context of this chapter. They come here to prove that the law will one day be done away with. But the context of this chapter is the priesthood of God and how Melchizedek is a representative of a higher priesthood. That's the context of this chapter, right? Now, let's jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law, that is, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham.
Come on.
But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham, and blessed him that had the promises.
What does that mean? Somebody tell me what that means. Verse 6. He whose descent is not counted from them being the Levites, received tithes from Abraham, and blessed him who had the promises. You see, we gotta dig deep, and this is why this conversation is too heavy for our Christian brothers and sisters. Hey, we're gonna say shalom to the captain real quick. Right, we're gonna give him a second to get in. But this is why this conversation is way too heavy for our Christian brothers and sisters. Shalom, King. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Khan. You see what I'm saying? Imagine being on the street. Imagine being on Clubhouse with 5-10 unruly brothers and sisters that don't want to listen to the word of the Most High God. You can't pull a precept. They got 1,000 questions that take you to another place, and you trying to teach this. It's impossible, right? So we have to understand this so deeply that no matter how they explain it, we can show them quickly in the context of the same chapter. Quickly, that can't mean that because of this. Right? Shalom, Carlos Wilson. Shalom. Yahbashim Yahshabakatan. Look at that. Nadiyab said royal seed line that predates Jacob. Okay, so this is what we'll say. We don't have no genealogy for Melchizedek. We don't have no genealogy at all. He just pop up on the scene. And the writer of Hebrews doubles down on this point, right? And he says, you know, he has no beginning of days, no end of life, right? I have to. Can one of y'all find that precept real quick? The one where he says Melchizedek has no beginning of days, nor end of life. Might be in the same chapter, but I can't remember where it's at. Right?
We just read it.
Maybe we did. Let me see.
Hebrews 7 verse.
Yeah, Khan, verse 3. There you go. Read that one more time.
Khan. Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life.
Come on.
But made like unto the Son of Yahweh, abideth a priest continually.
Yo, that's heavy. So we're not talking about a seed line that predates Jacob. We're talking about a priest who just is a priest. We don't know where he came from. He just is the priest of the Most High God. And he appears on the scene. Right? Now, let's keep reading from where you stopped before. Verse 6.
I think it was verse.
Yep. So, I didn't explain it yet. So we're talking about a man whose descent does not come from the Levites, but that same man received tithes from Abraham. Right? So whoever this person is greater than Abraham in status.
Right.
And not only that, he gave a blessing to Abraham. So he's more spiritually elevated than Abraham in status. That's heavy. Whoever this person is, right? Go to verse 7.
Verse 7. And without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better.
And I didn't say it. He said it. Abraham is blessed by somebody that's better than him. So let's write that on the screen. Right? Is better than Abraham. Right? And that's going to be, what verse was that again, King?
That was verse 7. 7 and 7.
Yep, that's right. So once again, I'm going to ask y'all. One more time. What is the context of the chapter? Have we ever crossed over to talking about the commandments of Moses? right, as they like to call it. Have we ever crossed over to talking about dietary law? We haven't. The law of wearing fringes, keeping feast day. We have not spoken or mentioned or even in passing referenced any of that. Right? This is the context of the chapter. Keep reading. And I'm going to let you read smooth down to verse 12 now.
Okay. And here men that die receive tithes, but there he receiveth them, of whom it is witnessed that he liveth.
So that's basically just saying it's witness that he liveth because he has no end of days. Go ahead.
Okay. And as I may say, Levi also, who receiveth tithes, paid tithes in Abraham. For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him.
I'm sorry, I got to write that one down. Levi paid tithes to Melchizedek, right? Abbreviation there. And that's verse, I'm putting this all out there. Verses 9 and 10. Hey, go ahead.
If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law.
Stop.
What further?
Hey, so now we got to ask, what law was received by the hand of the Levites? Under it, the people received the law, right? From the Levites. But guess what? The laws of the Most High existed from the beginning of time. We can demonstrate this, right? So since the laws existed from the beginning of time, we can't be talking about the whole body of the law, statutes, and commandments. We have to be talking about something that was only administered to the people through the Levites. Go ahead.
It says for under it the people received the law. What further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek and not be called after the order of Aaron?
Right. Come on.
For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
So this is what we're trying to show you. The context of this chapter is not a chapter trying to show you why the law, statutes, and commandments are done away with. We're talking about one specific set of laws that was administered to the people through the Levites. Can somebody in the chat tell us what that is? If you don't have a Levite, you cannot keep this law. If you don't have a Levite and a temple and an altar, you cannot keep this law. And that would be a great brick wall to set up. Another thing I'm starting to realize, Brother Judah brings out cognitive dissonance all the time. I'm gonna let you break that down real quick. Cognitive dissonance for the people.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance is when you had a belief system that you might have been taught from a child, and you hold fast to that belief. You believe in that belief system wholeheartedly, and then somebody comes to you with information, factual information that totally negate and destroy the doctrine or whatever belief system that you believed in, but you decide not to adhere to the facts that's coming out because you want to hold to your belief system so bad. That's called cognitive dissonance.
That's right. That's right. So one thing I've learned in the past maybe week, I read about this. You cannot defeat cognitive dissonance with logic. You know why you can't defeat it with logic? Because they're gonna dig deeper into their thought system, and they're gonna feel like they're being attacked, and they're gonna run the other way at all costs.
Because cognitive dissonance is illogical in itself.
In itself, it is illogical. It doesn't care about logic.
Right.
It only cares about maintaining what I already believe and what I've already known. So if a person is in that mind state, I'm going to maintain what I believe and what I know. How can you then come to them with logic? Well, let's talk about it. This is how you do it. You present them with a brick wall and you walk away. And you let them smash their head on that brick wall as long as they want to. But one day they're gonna go back to the lab, because we've done this. Me and the brother Judah done this. Me and Boaz do this throughout the week sometimes. We'll be like, dang, that's a tough one right there. I don't even know how I would deal with that. Right? They're gonna do that as well. You give them the brick wall, you design the brick wall during your studies, and then you give that to the person with cognitive dissonance, and you let them figure it out on their own, and then you walk away. Right? That's what we're gonna do tonight. Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 12 says that if perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, right? We know that the people did not receive the law from the Levitical priesthood. The Levitical priesthood was set up after Moses gave the people the law, far after the people was given the law. Moses was in himself a priest, but the actual Levitical priesthood was not set up until far after Exodus chapter 20. So you got to tell me, if this is not talking about the whole body of commandments, what is it talking about? And the people in the chat have already spoken and said it's the law of sacrifice. That's the law that was changed. That's why we're talking about a priest, right? Now, I'm going to actually show you something that's difficult to understand. Let's get the book of Colossians chapter 1 and 16. Right? As soon as you get it.
This is the book of Colossians chapter 1 and verse 16. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth.
So who we talking about? Who we talking about? You can answer it, Boaz.
Yahweh.
All right, but specifically, who we talking about? Matter of fact, read verse 17 as well. Yep, that's Yahweh. Right. There you go. Verse 17 as well. Go ahead.
Okay. Visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him.
Come on.
And he is before all things, and by him all things consist.
Okay, so as we read in the book of John chapter 1 and verse 1, this whoever we talking about right now, we dealing with the word of the Most High God. This person was called the Word, right? They was created from the beginning. They are called the Word of the Most High God, and everything else was created by this person, right? I want you to think about this concept. Now, jump over to Sirach 24 and verse 9. And I'm gonna get Nadiyah's precept in Ephesians.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 24 and verse 9. He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail. Well, that's fire.
Come on. Hey, so hold up. So Sirach chapter 24 is telling us that this person was created in the beginning and they will never fail. Come on.
In the holy tabernacle I served before him, and so was I established in Zion.
Who serves in the tabernacle? What office must you hold to serve in the tabernacle? Y'all put that in the chat. Hey, that's beautiful. The brother Ariel said Proverbs 8 and 22. We're gonna hit that one too. What office must you hold to even be in the gates of the tabernacle, right? In the inner gates, putting in work, and more specifically in the Holy of Holies. What office must you hold? I know y'all know this. There you go. Brother Kazakia, priest. Nadia, priest. Gary, priest. Who is Sirach 24 talking about? Sirach chapter 24. Y'all put this person's name in the chat. Who is Sirach chapter 24 talking about? Hey, give him a clue. Jump up to verse 3.
Verse 3. I came out of the mouth of the Most High and covered the earth as a cloud.
Who that gotta be? Who that gotta be? Come on, Israel. Y'all got it. Right? I'm gonna put this on the screen real quick while they typing. Right? I want y'all to think about this. There you go. It gotta be Yahushua. And we see that Yahushua was created from the beginning. And not only was he created from the beginning, but he held the title of a priest from the beginning. Right? So I'm going to say something that's hard to understand. And you can't say this to a Christian ever. But we can say it because we understand. When Hebrews chapter 7 and 12 says there was a change in the law, there was actually not a change in the law. Because Hamashiach Yahushua was always the priest of the Most High God.
God.
So there's actually not a change in the law. Khan, go ahead.
I was going to say, even from the beginning.
Correct. Even from the beginning. Now, we understand that the writer of Hebrews is making a point to show believers that kept the laws of Moses, hey, listen, there will come a time when a greater priest will come, which is why he's teaching it the way he's teaching it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now we know what that means. And that's the thing about it. Like, we never going to get to do a breakdown like that in front of them because they won't allow it to happen. They won't allow it to happen. So,
yeah. Hey, and some, this just made me think, as far as like the OT only, it's like, if you going by just that without having the Hamashiach, you don't even have the right understanding of the law.
Correct. And that's a heavy thing to know. That's a heavy thing to know, man. And that's a scary thought if you think about it. That's an excellent point. That's a scary thought, man. You can be keeping these laws. That's what Romans chapter 10 was about, right? Look at it. Romans chapter 10, Romans chapter 9, 31 and 32. Keeping the law is nothing without proper faith. That's why when we get to Revelation, it says what? You have to be keeping the law and have faith in Hamashiach Yahushua. You got to have both. Right? Now, I did this on accident. So let me get rid of this. Okay. Let me get the brothers' precepts. They got some really good precepts. All right. Ephesians 3 and 9. It reads, and to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery, which from before the beginning of the world has been hid in God, who created all things by Hamashiach Yahushua. Plain upon tables. Right? Let's get that Proverbs 8 and 22. This is a bonus. This is a bonus right here. This is a good one. I wasn't even going to bring this out, but I got to do it now. Proverbs 8 and 22 is one of my favorites.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 8 and verse 22. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old.
Hold up. So we just read a precept about somebody coming out of the mouth of the Most High before the world was created. Right? We just read that precept. Then we read the one that says that all things was created by Hamashiach Yahushua. Right? So Proverbs 8 and 22 is from the Old Testament telling you that somebody was with the Most High. Read it again.
The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old.
So I was going to try to bring up something, but my computer is not cooperating. If the brother Judah is still there, I would love to see if we can pull up a commentary on Proverbs chapter 8. And not only a commentary, I want to pull up the Jewish man's commentary of Proverbs chapter 8. And I actually have it in my Tanakh. Matter of fact, let me go grab my Tanakh real quick. Boaz, say something real quick. I'll be back in about 20 seconds.
Israel. Hey, if everybody is liking the class, drop a 12 in the chat. If you want to get more classes like this, drop a 7 and a 12 in the chat. Because we do this for the edification of Israel. So that way everybody does have a good understanding, especially when you're going out and you dealing with these situations, when you talking to somebody who's coming out of the Christian church, or even if you're talking to somebody who's still in the Christian church, or even a pastor. So we got to come out with these type of lessons so we know that way, one, we have a better understanding, and that way we're able to be able to teach it to others.
Hey, that's right. That's excellent points. Right? And look what the brother Gary said. He said, Salakia, if they're Thawada Judah, he said, Salakia, if they're OT only, do they keep the law? And if so, are they still doing animal sacrifice? I'm gonna deal with that. So let's table that question, and I'll leave it on the screen, right? But let's look at what's on the screen real fast. Proverbs 8:22. Now, this is the Jewish man's commentary. It says in Proverbs 8:22 through 31, a figure known as woman wisdom is described as being present with God when God was creating the world. And so they already telling you that wisdom is the one who's speaking. They telling you that. And I'm going to show you something even crazier in this Tanakh. Adawan Yakum Yah got this Tanakh. You're going to see. Obviously, woman wisdom serves as a great personification to teach about the importance of learning wisdom for the purpose of fearing God. But did some early Jewish sects believe in an actual divine woman known as woman wisdom, right? Possibly God's wife. And then they're going to go into that, right? That's doctrines. I used to work with this. I used to work with Jake, and he believed in that. He went to some church. It was like a Church of God or something like that. I don't know what it was called. And he believed that there was a God that was married to God, and it was a woman. It was a female God. And he was trying to show me scriptures about wisdom. And I was like, if you don't get out my face, brother, like you, like we ain't never heard that before. That is crazy.
Bugging.
Right? It's a doctrine for everybody. So I'm going to show you something. Hey, now drop, if you can, I'll type this in Google, Judah, if you don't mind. Type in Proverbs 8:22 Sepharia. Sefaria. Proverbs 8:22 Sepharia. Y'all watch this. Right? So then you got to look on the side, find verse 22 in the little gray letters, and then you click it, and then all the commentaries will come up on the right-hand side. Right? So click commentary. Yep. And then just go to all commentary. Yep. Now just scroll down, and we're just gonna read the ones that's in English. We're gonna show you OT onlys, what the people you look up to are saying about Proverbs 8:22. We on verse 23. Click on 22. Yep. There you go. Now scroll up. Shout out to that brother Naftali. All right, go up real quick. What did he say? So he said it's in English. Sometimes these things are hard to find. I thought that was it. Okay. So anyway, if I had control of it, I would show you. But basically, if you can, matter of fact, go down to verse. Keep going. He had something to earth. I was there when he set up the heavens. He made the foundations. He assigned them. I was with him. Okay. Where it says I was with him in verse 30. Click on that one. And then go to all commentaries. And you see where it says EN, so that means they have English. See that? So they're going to be in English, some of them. So scroll down. Right there. So let's read those real quick. It says, oh man, okay, all right, Salakia. So I gotta find this now because I tried to show y'all. This is heavy when you see this. Hold on, I'm gonna tell him what verse to go to. Just bear with me for a second. Bear with me. Right? This is important because when we breaking down Proverbs chapter 8, they want to tell you that this is not Hamashiach Yahushua. Emphatically, it can't be Christ, right? But we see that they believe it's a person called wisdom that is personified. That's exactly what we believe about Christ. He is wisdom personified. That's exactly what we believe. So check number one. Check number two, the New Testament says that he was created before creation. This says that it was there before creation. Check number two. Right? It's very easy. I might have to come back to this because I can't figure out what verse it was that had the commentaries on it. But at least I do have my Tanakh, right? So I do have it here. So you close that down. Salakia, Israel. Salakia. All right. And then I'm going to share this again. And I'm going to show you something. So now I'm looking at the Tanakh, right? And the Tanakh basically is a Hebrew Bible on one side. It's written in the Masoretic text, right? And then on the other side, it's in English. So when you go to the bottom of the page, they have like little commentaries and stuff like that. So I'm gonna flip to the book of Proverbs, and the book is weird because it's from right to left. So you flip from right to left instead of like a regular book. Also, the books are in a different order in the Tanakh. They're not in the same order that we have them in our English Bible. Right? Hold on. That's Job. Proverbs 22. Where we at? Where we at? And it's already highlighted in my book. 22. Or Proverbs 8. Why am I saying 22? It's Proverbs 8 and 22. There we go. So if you look at my screen here, and I'm going to make myself big on the screen real fast. Let's remove that. Let's remove that. Right. Right here at the bottom of the screen. Okay. Proverbs 8 and 22 in the Jewish Man's Bible says the Torah is the blueprint of the universe. God created the Torah, or the word, before the universe. It is manifest in creation, preserves the world, and is the guide to all mankind. And then if you come over here, it says the Torah now speaks on her own behalf. That's what the Tanakh says. The Jewish man's Tanakh. This was not written by Hebrew Israelites, right? So within their own documentation, they prove and they believe things that we already teach, right? So when we say that Proverbs 8 and 22 is talking about Hamashiach Yahushua, we're not making that up. Now, so let's write down what it says, right? It's talking about wisdom. We all agree there. We believe that it's before creation. All of that. That's verse 22. Now, keep reading. Go to verse 23.
Slovakia.
Khan, you good?
Okay. Dang. Verse 23. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was.
Uh-oh. Let's drop that. Get Sirach 1 and 4.
Khan, it's the book of Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 4. Wisdom have been created before all things, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting.
Come on. Verse 5.
The word of Yahweh Most High is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments.
So my Tanakh just told me that the wisdom of the Torah was created before all things, and now in Proverbs chapter 8, it's speaking on its own behalf. Right? Sirach tells me that wisdom was created before all things, and the way of wisdom is everlasting commandments. Right? Now, finally, to drive this point home, this is my dagger for my Old Testament onlys. Get Micah 5 and 2. Because they love to say that Micah 5 and 2 is not about Christ. Then I'm going to drop that, and we're going to hit my last point and be done. Micah 5 and 2.
God, this is the book of Micah, chapter 5 and verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem, Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of these shall he come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from old, from everlasting.
How can you go forth from everlasting? Right? You know the breakdown they try to give you on this? The Old Testament onlys? The Old Testament only will say, oh, that's because his seed line goes back to Adam. Brother, everybody on earth's seed line go back to Adam. What are you talking about? Right? It can't be that. This person here is from everlasting, and from the foundation of the world, the Most High God had already set this person to be the ruler of Israel. And it makes perfect sense. And the thing is, they don't even disagree with this. So that's why the brick wall that I would put in front of them on this one is Proverbs chapter 8 is about the wisdom of God. And if you make them agree to that, then they actually agreeing to what you believe. You see what I'm saying? They have to agree to that, because every commentator in their Bibles and anybody with common sense and who knows how to use precepts will know that Proverbs chapter 2 is about the wisdom of God. And the wisdom of God is speaking now. It's saying, yo, I was doing this and I was doing that. So wisdom is not simply an idea. Wisdom is a person. Now, let me answer this brother's question. I know I'm being long-winded, so y'all stop me if I'm being long-winded. Salakia, if they're Old Testament only, are they keeping the law? And if so, do they do animal sacrifice? They do not do animal sacrifice. A lot of the Old Testament only brothers and sisters, they believe that while we're in captivity, they will be dwelling many days without a ephod and a teraphim, and without a priest, and without a altar, and all these things. And and some of them will go as far as not to keep feast days, because they feel like they have to be in the land to keep feast days.
You know, when you ask them who atones for their sins, some of them will say they go straight to the Most High.
That's right.
They will say.
And but you know what? You've never been able to go straight to the Most High.
I was about to say, who was the mediator when we left Egypt? You were scared to go to the Most High.
Correct.
You told Moses, you go up there, bro, because we ain't even about to do that. Like you go up there.
Facts. And check this out. Moses had to be obedient to the law, statutes, and commandments for the Most High to deal with him. So even Moses had a mediator of sorts. And we believe that the word is Hamashiach Yahushai, right? So you gonna have a hard time getting around a person being able to go straight to the Most High without using the word. You're gonna have a hard time proving that. Yes,
but they kept the Passover in Egypt.
Correct. The first Passover was not in the land of Israel.
Yeah, right. They be killing me with that one.
And the next 40 years.
Facts.
Yeah. So that's a good point.
And then
I don't want y'all said who is their savior. Go ahead, boys.
I was gonna say, and then also in Judges it talks about where we at in the land of noise, archers, and the land of drawing water. It said you're gonna rehearse the righteous acts.
Correct. That's right. Towards the inhabitants of Jerusalem. That's right.
So what about that? And you still you got to be in the land, like
they don't care about that.
The OT only it sounds like they holding on to hot air.
Then some of them will say that, well, shit, the land is Utah. We ain't even gonna go into that conversation.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's crazy. I have heard that breakdown too. I've seen a whole video. I saw a 30, 45-minute video of a brother trying to break that down. And I said, okay, brother, if Utah is the land of Israel, then that means that you have to be in walking distance from the real Egypt. You have to be in walking distance from the real Babylon.
Watch this.
They crazy.
They believe the Grand Canyon is the entrance and the exit from Egypt.
Right, okay. Because they trying to say, look at you, nothing, no good, man.
I know. I heard the same thing. I've heard the same thing. Somebody was like, the reason why you can't go in somewhere into the Grand Canyon, because once you go through this passage, then you're going to be right over into Egypt. And it's like,
right, because they believe that the South America and Mexico and all that, because they got pyramids, they believe that's Egypt. So you need a little bit more than that. It's a lot of archaeology in the land of Egypt. Like you gotta ignore a lot of archaeology, but okay. Right. So let me hit this last points. Boom. Revelation chapter 7 and verse 9. This is another thing that we have to deal with when people try to tell us that that Revelation 7 and 9 is not what it is. So let's deal with it. Hold on real quick, just to recap real fast. We setting up brick walls. Setting up brick walls for the people with cognitive dissonance. And Romans chapter 10 and 4, the brick wall is the purpose of the law, is Yahushua. They have to agree with that. If they disagree with that, their own companions in the faith, in their faith system, will leave them alone after that conversation. They have to agree with that, right? Hebrews 7 and 12, when it's talking about a change in the law, the change in the law is about the priesthood, right? That's about the priesthood. Proverbs 8 and 22 is about the wisdom of God. Now let's find out what Revelation 7 and 9 is about, right? Revelation 7 and 9, you can read it out.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 9. After this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
Got you. See that? Got you. They said, right, everybody can be saved, brother, because this says of all nations, of all kindreds and people and tongues stood before the throne. So all y'all Israelites is wrong. Y'all need to pack up your Bibles. We have in Sunday school around 9:30 on Sunday, so y'all can come early, and we'll make sure that you learn the true breakdown, right? But let's point a couple of things out. Revelation 7 and 9 is, number one, in the middle of a chapter yet again. And it starts with the word after. So, brother, if you don't mind, let's jump over a couple of chapters real quick, and then we're going to come back. Let's get Revelation 5 and 9.
Okay. There's the book of Revelation, chapter 5 and verse 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to Yahweh by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation.
It says out of every kindred and tongue and nation, right? And as we read in the book of Acts chapter 2, we know that there were Jews living at least in the time of the New Testament, right? We're not even talking about after the dispersion in 70 AD, but during the time of the New Testament, you had devout Jews living all across the world, in every nation, speaking most languages, right? But now you get to Revelation 5 and 9, and it's saying that the Lord has redeemed us to God by thy blood, speaking about Christ's blood, out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. And read the next verse, because this is a good one too. Verse 10.
And has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
There you go. So now we see out of every nation, right? So now we see who he's talking about. Consistently throughout the scriptures, the priest can only be of the Israelites, right? How you gonna be a priest and you're not of the Israelites? Because the Israelite is the nation of kings and priests, right? You've called us out of the darkness into your marvelous light, right? All of this stuff. First Peter chapter 2 and 9. You got Deuteronomy 7 and 6. We are the greatest nation, but we are the greatest nation for a purpose, in order to teach the other nations and subdue the other nations so that they can be in righteous rulership. But that's not going to happen until Christ come back, right? Revelation 7 and 9 says, out of all nations and kindreds and tongues, and they get hung up on the word all nations, kindreds, and tongues. So let's go back to Revelation 7, and now let's examine the context from which we're not even going to deal with this by precepts. I know y'all got all the precepts. I know y'all got 2nd Ezra chapter 2, right? I know y'all got Genesis chapter 48. I know y'all got that. But I want to show you something in the context that proves this cannot be speaking about all people. It has to be speaking to Hebrews, right? So, first of all, read verse 10.
You said verse 10?
Yep.
Con. And cry with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb.
Okay, stop. Who is salvation for? We already know salvation is only for Israel. So that's number one clue who we talking about, right? Go ahead, keep reading.
Okay. And all the angels stood round about the throne and about the elders and the 4 beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces and worshiped Yahweh.
Okay, quick question about verse 11. You have elders, you have a throne, and you have worship. The only elders that the Bible ever speaks about is the elders of the children of Israel. The throne is representing in the temple of God, and we know that no stranger can even come into the temple. And then worship, the other nations never learned the law, so how do they know how to worship the Most High God? Right? Come on, verse 12.
Saying, Amen, blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our power forever and ever. Amen.
Come on.
And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, what are these which are arrayed in white robes?
Uh-oh, they got white robes again. They got white robes again, right? Go ahead.
And whence came they?
Okay.
And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, these are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
Now, we know that the blood of the Lamb is only for the children of Israel. We're not even going to do that breakdown. But I'm very interested in the washing of the garments. Let's get Baruch chapter 5 and verse 1.
I'll get this one.
Khan.
All right. You said Baruch 5 and 1.
That's right.
This book of Baruch. Y'all see my face when I read this. This is book of Baruch chapter 5 and verse 1. Oh, Slocky, my son going crazy.
You're good. We can hear you.
All right, Khan. Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of thy mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from Yahweh forever.
So hold on. You get a new garment in the book of Baruch. And who is he talking to? Jerusalem. Right? Come on.
Verse 2. Cast about thee a double garment of righteousness, which cometh from Yahweh, and set a diadem on thine head of the glory of the everlasting.
Hey, look at that. That's the garments. That's the garments coming from the Most High. That's that change of garments that we looking forward to getting, right? You don't have no prophecy of the other nations getting a change of garments. You show it to me and we'll yield. Right? So let's keep reading in Revelation. Jump down to verse 15.
Verse 15. Therefore are they before the throne of Yahweh, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them.
Okay, check this out. The service of God is for who? Okay, Romans 9:4. Because these people that we're talking about right now are serving God. So let's see who can serve God according to the books that come before the book of Revelation. Right? Romans 9:4.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 4. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Yahweh and the promises.
Hey, to the Israelites, they the people who can serve the Lord, right? So when we're looking at Revelation 7 and 15, once again, it looks like everything is telling me these got to be Israelites. But watch this. I think these 2 points, these next 2 verses are the strongest points to show you that this is all about the children of Israel, right? Go to verse 16.
Okay. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst anymore, neither shall the sunlight on them, nor any heat.
Somebody in this chat, somebody in the chat, tell me what that verse is quoted from. Somebody in that verse, show me. Or Salaki, somebody in the chat, show me what that verse is quoted from.
Drop the preset in the chat. Drop the precept in the chat.
Right?
Okay, I see it.
They saying it? I can't see the comment. Sorry.
Nah, they ain't saying it. I'm just saying I see it myself.
Oh, yeah, Khan. That's right. That's right. Hey, Shalom, Abaya the Humble. Shalom, Shalom. All praises. Right? Drop that in the chat. Right? Where are we quoting from? Now, what's the easy way to find this? I've told y'all this before. Easy way to find where a verse comes from is to type this into Google, right? I mean, we got Google now. So we can type in Revelation 7 was 16 cross references, right? Boom. Google that bad boy, and you're gonna find out where it come from. Don't just automatically take the cross reference. Always double check, make sure that's actually where it comes from. But yeah, for the most part, it's gonna be a good precept. There we go. Isaiah 49 and verse 10. Let's read it. And matter of fact, if you don't mind, jump up to verse 7.
Verse 7.
Yep.
Kind of one. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, and verse 7. Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despiseth, to him whom the nation abhorreth.
Hold up. The nations do what?
Abhorreth.
Okay, go ahead.
To a servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship because of the Lord that is faithful and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee.
Okay,
thus saith the Lord.
This scripture right here is telling us about the day of salvation. The word salvation is in verse 8, right? The word salvation is in verse 8, and the Lord is speaking to the children of Israel. And we know he's speaking to the children of Israel because the Lord's title in these verses is the Redeemer of Israel.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna call you the Redeemer of Israel, and then I'm gonna follow up talking about redemption, I gotta be speaking to Israel, right? Now let's jump down to verse 10.
Okay. Verse 10. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that have mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them.
That sounds like Psalms chapter 1 and verse 3. Blessed is the man who walketh not in the way of the ungodly, and he meditates in the law day and night, he shall be like a tree planted by rivers of water, right? And his leaf shall never wither. X, Y, and Z. I'm probably butchering that a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. So this is how we know it's the children of Israel. Now let's go back to Revelation. This is how we would do a thorough analysis of the context of Revelation chapter 7. Right? Now go to verse 17.
17.
Yep.
Okay. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters. And
We just read that. We just read that. Come on.
And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
Okay, where's that verse from? This our last verse, Israel. Where is that? Where's verse 17 from? Hey, shalom to the brother Tawabia. Shalom. Yabashim Yashabrak. Da. Let me read what Gary said while they're answering that. He said, what gave you the indication to go to verse 5 and not a couple verses up? If you never read Revelation. Right. Okay. That's a great point. That's a great point. Well, what do you mean by verse 5? Oh, you're saying chapter 5. Chapter 5. Okay. So only because I've read this chapter before and I got notes already written down. That's why I knew to go to chapter 5. But even if you go a couple of verses up, like let's start Boaz, if you can go back to Revelation 7 and 9, right? But jump up to verse 4.
Okay, verse 4. And I heard the number of them which are sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Right. So I know that the context here is the children of Israel, right? Then we're going to go through the 12,000 from each tribe, and they name off Judah, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin, right? Although the tribe of Dan is not named here. Did I read Dan? I don't think I did.
Wow.
Right. Although the tribe of Dan is not named here, we do believe that they'll be in the kingdom. That's a different breakdown. But yes, so we're talking about the children of Israel, and we're talking about the ruling class of the children of Israel. Because remember, the children of Israel shall be as the stars of heaven and as the sand that's on the seashore. So they will be without number. But right here, it only says 144,000. So we know for a fact that has to be the ruling class of the children of Israel. It can't be the entire thing, right? So then after that, then we get the innumerable multitude. These are the people that were scattered in the four corners of the earth, and they was in the tribulation. And the Most High God is bringing them back to their heritage. They've been ran through the fire. They've been tried as gold is tried in the furnace. X, Y, and Z, right? And these are the people that will get white robes. So that's the context. But I went over to Revelation chapter 5 and 9 because I'm familiar with that chapter to answer that question. Okay. Yeah, that's right. So Kazakia said Isaiah 25 and 8 is where verse 17 comes from. Let's read that.
And it's the book of Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 8. He will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from off all faces. And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth, for the Lord has spoken it.
Now, we know for a fact that this has to be Israel. Number one, they're called his people. It doesn't just say all people. He's speaking of a specific group of people. That's number one. Number two, he's going to take the rebuke of his people from off all the earth. Now, this goes back into Deuteronomy chapter 30, where the Lord says he's going to take, in the last days, he's going to take our curses off of us and put those curses on our enemies, right? So that's a good way to understand that. But you can also jump up earlier in the chapter and read down through the chapter to get the fuller context of what we're talking about. But let me find this verse that I'm looking for. Hold on. Away every tear from their eyes. So like, Salaki, I didn't write this one down. That's my fault. Okay. And well, who shall the Lord of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things? It be said, lo, this is our God. We have waited for him. He will save us. Okay, perfect. All right, read down to verse 9. So read verse 8 one more time and then read down to verse 9.
Kind of want. He will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from off all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth. For the Lord have spoken it, and it shall be said in that day, lo, this is our God. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is the Lord. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation.
Salvation, yet again. So this is what we're trying to teach y'all. Look for those clue words. Sometimes you're not going to see the word Israel. Sometimes you're not going to see the word, you may not see the exact word that you're looking for. But when you see keywords, since you've already broken down salvation so many times, we've done so many lessons on who salvation is for, you know undisputably that this has to be talking about Israel, right? Because salvation is saving the nation of Israel from their enemies. That's the definition of salvation, right? So all praises to the Most High. So let's create our brick wall for this one. So Revelations chapter 7 and 9 is written in Hebraic language. And that's all we actually need, really. So it's written in Hebraic language. So if you're going to tell me that this is for the other nations, why are we talking about symbolism and things that only the Israelites will understand, right? Would a Thessalonian who's never kept the law, a real Thessalonian too, by blood, right, by heritage, by nationality, would he really know what we're talking about when we start talking about the elders and the throne and the worship? This is the reason why the Christian church is so lost on all these doctrines, because they not rooted in a Hebraic language and in a Hebraic way of thinking, right? So they're going to be totally lost. All their breakdowns going to be off. Okay. So, hey, all praises to the Most High. Just wanted to do these real quick. Y'all like, share, and subscribe once again if you're not already subscribed. Make sure y'all join our clubhouse rooms, man. We've been having some beautiful clubhouse rooms in the spirit. Hey, and one last thing, on June the 22nd, we're gonna be having a class on textual criticism. Also, we also have a class coming out on the Apocrypha. So Adawan Yakum Yah, he will get the dates to me. We'll get that promoted out to Israel. He's heading that class up. So we want to make sure y'all get the edification that's coming out of these classes. These classes is the information that's coming out in these classes could be in a book somewhere, right? So get on these classes, June the 22nd, textual criticism. All right, I yield right there.
All right, all praises, man. Hey, put a 7 in the chat if you. First of all, put a 7 in the chat if you still on the class. I don't see it drop from 30 to 23 quick. If you still here, put a 7 in the chat real fast.
That's right.
Real quick.
Can I drop this preset real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So just a reference back to the Romans and Hebrews that we was talking about earlier, as far as being written in Paul, as far as Paul writing those, right?
Yeah.
When you're dealing with that type of situation, with dealing with these people who don't understand Paul's letters, that's why we always got to go and revisit Peter. So 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 15 says, and account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, have written unto you. Like, you have to understand the wisdom that Paul got.
Yeah.
And what he teaching, he's not teaching against the law. That's why if you want to, somebody said to me, if you want to understand Paul, you need to know the law. It's like a rhyme.
No, that's right.
If you want to understand what Paul talking about, you got to know the law, because Paul knows the law. But reading on, it says, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood. Some of the things that Paul be kicking, it might be hard to be understood. If you're in the church community and you go straight into the New Testament, it's going to be hard to understand what Christ is talking about, what Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul is going into. And Paul got the most books in the New Testament.
Correct.
It's going to be hard to understand if you don't know the law. It says, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, as they do also the other scriptures, unto their own destruction.
God.
So that's why they go into that position where it's like you mess yourself up dealing with something that you don't understand.
They choking on them green beans, man. They need to be eating damn mashed
potatoes.
Yeah, they need to be eating mashed potatoes and applesauce, man.
Right. Hey, listen. For those of y'all who say y'all still on class, I put a 7 in the chat. I want y'all to put a 3 in the chat if you are on the Clubhouse platform. Real quick, put a 3 in the chat if you are on the Clubhouse platform.
That's right.
We got to make one of those things up here.
Yeah.
Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, that'd be dope.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll work on that tonight.
Come on. All right. If you are on the Clubhouse platform, not if you following us on Clubhouse, if you just on Clubhouse, put a 3 in the chat. Put a 1 and a 2 in the chat if you're not on Clubhouse. We need your support, Israel.
If you're not on Clubhouse, come out the Stone Age. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right. Hey, guess what? Clubhouse is for Androids too now. Hey, Clubhouse made people get iPhones, yo.
Nah, for real. It did. Brothers was like, yo, I have to be in on this conversation.
Yo, when Clubhouse first came out and the Israelites touched Clubhouse, what a time to be.
It was over with.
God. You don't understand, right? How many people that I personally know that came in the truth from Christianity off of Clubhouse. I know a brother and a sister that came out of Christianity, came into the truth. The brother is now a teacher in the camp now and got married to the other sister who came out of the world, and they now have a child.
God, all praise.
A beautiful Israelite family off of Clubhouse.
Off of Clubhouse. That's crazy, man.
You feel me?
Yeah, so Clubhouse. Hey, most high letting it happen on Clubhouse. I'm just gonna say it.
So, with that being said, right, get on Clubhouse, look up Anointed House of Saints, become a member on the Clubhouse. We are going to drop a room every day at some point.
Right.
Every day. You feel me? Every day. So, get on the Clubhouse platform. All right? Anointed House of Saints Clubhouse. All right, you can find us on there, all right? You got anything before we give me that deal 7 and 18, Boaz, but you got anything before we read that?
Yeah, Con, just wanted to answer the brother Gary's question real fast. He said,
I'll take it off the screen.
Yeah, no, it's all good. He was asking, what is that apocryphal precept book for? Hey, that's a secret book. Don't be putting that out on the airways like that. That's
alert from Microsoft Word.
Did y'all hear that? My computer.
Yep.
All right. So look, this is the thing about it, right? That book, it's very difficult to find certain precepts in the Apocrypha because the Apocrypha is not as popular as the Bible is on the internet. As Israelites continue to search, you're going to start seeing more in the algorithm, more Apocryphal precepts popping up. I've been noticing that myself. But since that's not available as of yet and every precept don't pop up, that concordance for the Apocrypha is going to allow you to search certain words like sword, heart, spirit, X, Y, and Z, right? Water, tree. And you can find out everywhere in the Apocrypha. There you go. The brother just brought it out, right? You can find out everywhere in the Apocrypha where that word shows up. He'll show you real quick.
Salakia, what was the word?
No, I was just saying any word. Just that's how it works. You can, it's a concordance. Right. It's a concordance. And it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's the good thing about it. Yep. Khan, yeah, Howard said he'll show you some stuff. That's right. Hey, that's right. Hey, Howard, we gotta keep that. That's a well-kept secret, boy. I'm telling you, that's a beautiful thing there. Khan.
All right. So there you go. We'll be on Clubhouse tomorrow. We got an interesting class that we probably not class, but an interesting topic. Yesterday, the topic was Christians need to leave the churches, but not the Bible. Today, the topic was Christians, your pastor cannot prove that the law is done away with. That was the topic.
Yeah.
It got crazy. Christians love to move the goalposts. They like to say you're moving the goalposts, but they be referees out there.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, man, get on Clubhouse. If you got a job where you can have your headphones in, be learning something all day. What you been there doing? Listening to Erykah Badu? Right?
Right.
What y'all be listening to? What y'all be doing? Nothing. All right, your brothers be doing overtime. Brothers be at work on Clubhouse.
Kind.
You feel what I'm saying? Dropping this knowledge, you know, I'm trying to sharpen our swords, man. We don't got it all. You know what I mean?
Hey,
it is what it is. So with that, make sure you're on there, all right? So let's get that precept.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Shema Mashiach Yahushua, man.
Shema Mashiach Yahushua.
Shema Mashiach Yahushua.
With that, we're the Anointed House of Saints, man. We love y'all, man. Peace and blessings to the 12. All right, y'all enjoy your night. Shalom.
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 This is not a test.